Hey everyone, this is Brett with Wolves Across the Pond, and I'm excited to be back talking about Wolves today. And specifically, I'm actually going to be talking about Wolves badges. So if any of you have followed my channel for a while, you know I'm just a huge fan of the Wolves badge. It's beautiful, it's iconic, it always looks great, and it's just one of the finer things in life, in my opinion. And so what I've tried to do is familiarize myself with Wolves badges over the years. And I'm actually going to be ranking each of the Wolves badges through history from my least favorite to my favorite. And a quick caveat to that, obviously I haven't been a Wolves fan for decades upon decades like some people have, so I'm not as familiar with the stories that are associated with these badges, so I apologize if your opinions don't match. I know everyone's got, a special story with their favorite Wolves badge, and I certainly don't mean to underappreciate any of that history, because I know this is an extremely storied club and it has a rich history, and so each badge means something. And I will also say I don't like straight up hate or dislike any of these badges. It's just in order from my favorite to my least favorite, but we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. So yeah, just excited to talk about some Wolves badges, so let's get into it. Okay, so as I get into ranking the badges, I really had two different points of criteria that I was looking at. Number one, I was looking at just the design of the badge itself. And number two, I was looking at the way the badge looks when it's on the shirt. And I was actually quite surprised how much that swayed my opinion on some things, because some badges looked less impressive on the shirt and some badges looked a lot more impressive on the shirt than I would have anticipated. So it was kind of cool to see the list move around as I was reordering things. So hopefully we've gotten it to a good place where my opinions are final, but this was a tough one. There's points I like about each one, so grading them against each other felt a little bit like a betrayal. All right, so let's jump right into this list. At number 7 is the Wolves coat of arms / crest. And this might not be super surprising to some people, maybe it is to others, but I will say there are some things I did like about this badge. One thing that I learned, I didn't realize that they didn't really have badges until like the 70s. And so this kind of represented the club, I guess, for a long time, starting in I think the 20s. And then in 1970, they actually kind of got more of an official badge, but and then obviously this one came back in 1993, I think it was. Yeah, 1993. So, but the things I like about it are, just as somebody who enjoys history, anytime I see like a crest or coat of arms, I find that really interesting. So I think that it's cool that, you have that piece of culture and history associated to this badge. Again, it's not a badge that I hate by any means. I think it's really awesome still, and I think it looks much cooler than a lot of like clubs' crests or coat of arms that I've seen from other teams. So, but overall, I think the reason it scores at the bottom of the list is it just feels, it doesn't have like that kind of wolf symbolism to it that the other badges have. It kind of stands out on its own. It's a bit of an outlier. And I think on the shirt, I probably liked it the least of all the different badges that I saw. With the colors that are on the crest and the colors that are usually on the shirts, I found that they didn't jive as well as a lot of the other badges did for me. Again, still an awesome piece of history, but number 7 is the coat of arms. All right, moving into number 6, my 6th place badge is actually the 3 leaping wolves. And I feel like I might take some heat for that one, and that's totally fine. I know that this is a pretty iconic badge for the club, and I do think it's really cool. I think the 3 wolves together look cool. I can obviously definitely see the symbolism, and I know that they're actually associated to certain players that were playing at the time. I know the badge came on in 1974, and it was kind of an iconic time for the club. So again, not disrespecting any of that. It's just, looking at it on the shirt, I remember the first time I saw it, I actually thought that it was like stitching because they had it right in the center on the shirt itself, and I couldn't quite tell what it was. And so, I mean, now that I know what it is, it's cool, but I think that it just doesn't have quite as powerful design as some of the other badges. So that's why it scored a little bit lower on the list. All right, in spot number 5, we have the Wolves Shield from 1988. And this one is actually pretty, in pretty close contention with some of the other badges on this list. I really actually do like the shield. I think that looks cool. I like kind of the cross section in the middle that splits the two colors. And overall, I think it actually is a really cool design, so not knocking that at all. The reason it scored just a little bit lower than some of the other badges was, one, when kind of put next to the other badges, I didn't quite love the ribbon that was on the top and bottom of the shield. And I find that the colors in the badge itself actually sometimes did clash a little bit with the shirt, like the color of the shirt, because half the logo was kind of that old gold and then half was white, and so half of the badge kind of blended in with the shirt while the white background kind of stuck out. But overall, I still do like the badge. I think it's good looking, but that's the reason it scores a little bit lower. All right, in place number 4 is the geometric wolf head logo from 1996. And it's kind of funny because I was actually on some forums looking at people's opinions of Wolves badges, kind of seeing what the community was saying. And I was actually quite surprised at how many people that this was their favorite badge. It seems pretty divisive. Some people totally hate it, and then some people totally love it. I think some people are pretty nostalgic for it, and I think it's actually cool that it's shown up on some of our recent gear and merchandise. There's definitely some kind of sweet design things going on. The reason that it got knocked down just a little bit is I don't love the big FC on the bottom. I honestly think it'd be kind of cool if that was just left off totally. That shape without it is kind of nice. Other than that, I thought it was kind of funny because the first thing I thought of when I saw this badge was hockey. For some reason, it looks like this is a hockey team logo a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely kind of an outlier amongst the other Wolves badges, and it is a cool design. It is very unique. It's funny because it seems like some people love it, some people not so much. It's a little bit divisive compared to other badges. So, but yeah, that's my number 4 spot. All right, and number 3, we have what is maybe the closest to a tie on this list. I had a lot of trouble with number 3 versus number 2. But my number 3 badge is the first wolf's head logo with the geometric shape that was introduced in 1979. And I think this, I mean, obviously I love that design of the wolf's head, and I think it's cool kind of seeing it show up for the first time on these badges. And so, and it's kind of funny how simple it is compared to the other badges. It's just the head and wolves on the bottom. And so I do think it's nice that they kind of tone things down. It's almost a little too simple, but it looks really clean, and it's one of those designs, it's gonna look good on any shirt you put it on. I looked at many pictures, it always looked great. Really pops against the, the gold colors. But yeah, it's a strong design, don't really have anything against it, but it wound up at spot number 3 on my list. All right, number 2, and this one honestly might be kind of a surprise to some people. I really don't know what the consensus is on this badge, but I really like it. I think it's a good looking design, especially once I saw it worn. I mean, it's a good looking design on its own, and it looks really good on a shirt, at least to me. And that is the leaping wolf with the 2 W's from 1970. Which I guess was kind of the first official badge that was on the shirt. I could be mistaken. I saw a note on one website that said until 1970, clubs didn't really use badges, so that's what I assumed, but correct me if it was actually the coat of arms that came first, actually on the shirt worn. But no, looking at this logo, it's just, I think it's designed well. Again, like the last one I talked about, it's also very simple, but I think it really works. I think it takes the element, the leaping wolf from the 3 leaping wolves, but I like that it pairs it with that double W right there. I think those two things put together, it's just a nice design. It looks clean, and you know, it is pretty different and unique when kind of set against the other Wolves badges on this list. But this is one that I was actually kind of surprised how much I liked it, especially once I saw on the shirts. It was like, ooh, yeah, that's nice. I like that one. So yeah, that's my number 2. All right, and at number 1, no surprise, it's the modern day hexagon Wolves badge that we're using right now since 2002. This badge is just iconic. It's been unchanged for 22 years. It looks great on every shirt that I've seen it on. It's iconic. What can you say? I think it's the best looking badge in football, soccer to you American fans. It looks clean, it looks great. I read a thing, as I was doing my research, I read an article that was talking about when Fosun wanted to acquire Wolves, that the badge was actually like a part of it, you know? Wolves, like as a brand, like, I mean, beyond just a club, like as a brand as a whole, Wolves has a very, very powerful and iconic look to it, you know, alongside its storied history. There's just something special about that badge. You know, one thing I thought about while I was kind of doing my research is, if any of you have seen the movie The Founder, that talks about Ray Kroc, that was kind of the founder of McDonald's. In reality, he kind of stole it from the McDonald's brothers that started the restaurant. But what he said was, when he saw the name McDonald's, he knew he had to have it because the name was just too perfect for this restaurant. And that's the Wolves badge. Like the Wolves badge, it's too perfect. Like it looks great, it's just clean. The black against the gold always looks nice. And it's kind of funny because this last year, our third kit option was that really nice, like icy blue. And we kind of had like a whited out Wolves logo, which I think looked really cool. Like I'm not knocking that at all. But even if they had just stuck with, you know, the gold Wolves badge, it would have looked really awesome still. And so yeah, it looks great on everything. I have it on my phone in multiple places, and I just enjoy looking at it. It's a design that I never get tired of. So whoever designed it, and I probably should have looked at who it was, or if maybe it was a team, I don't know, but they crushed it. This is just a badge for the ages, and I'll never get tired of it. So yeah, that's my number 1. And as I was looking through forums, it seems like that's kind of the general consensus. A lot of people are saying that this one's just the best, so I totally agree. Well, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this ranking. Please, you know, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. You know, how would you rank this list? What are your favorites, least favorites, memories about badges or badge changes? I love hearing all that. That's one of the cool things about having such a storied club, is everyone's got a story that's their own. So would love to hear more about it in the comments, and let's chat. So yeah, thanks again, and much love and greetings from your fellow Wolves across the pond.